Melissa, I'll start with you first. What was it like, having led the Scream franchise for 2 films, being able to reunite with Matt and Tyler for this film? How do you think this may have been a different working relationship here than your prior work together?
This definitely was different. I feel like we felt more freedom in this one because it was a completely original kind of new chapter for the 3 of us, which is always exciting. And it's exciting to get to do something that feels fresh and original, and that you have an opportunity to kind of showcase a character unlike anything you've ever done before. And that was something that I spoke a lot with them about. I was like, how do I make Joey feel different? And so they helped me out with that a lot, and just working with them is such a joy every time, but specifically in this, knowing that they are infusing this movie with their sauce, like their radio silence specialty of the gore and the comedy and that perfect balance of that unique tone, is very exciting. And I'm just so proud of them, and I'm so proud of the movie that we made, and it's such a blast.
Yes. And Alisha, for you, not many people would say that they would have such a interesting resume to go from something like Matilda, from being Matilda to being Abigail. It's just so fantastic to me. And I hear that you have a background in gymnastics.
Yes, I do acro, yes.
Yes, and I'm wondering how that and any other background you may have had to become this ballet dancer, and then also even doing things like that extensive dance scene that you and Kathryn do in the movie. How do you think your experience helped you as far as when you were portraying this character?
I think on the dance side of it, having dance experience definitely helped in that way. And although I hadn't done ballet before, having done lyrical and jazz and commercial, it helped with the routines, and it helped with the turns and flexibility. So it definitely helped in that way. And for the routines with Kathryn, like you mentioned, it helped. But I hadn't done on point yet, and I hadn't done ballet, so that was quite new to me, and that was really fun getting to learn how to do that, and getting to keep my point shoes was so exciting to me. So it definitely helped having experience in that side of it. Obviously, I didn't have experience being a vampire, so that was very new in many ways. But yeah.
And Joey's character is one who has this. Even from the beginning of the movie, she wants to be protective of Abigail. How would you both say that, without giving spoilers, how do you think their dynamic and relationship kind of changes throughout the movie? Because they do have this interesting dynamic that persists from the moment we meet them together to the end.
Yeah, there's a lot of back and forth in that relationship. I think there's resistance from Joey in the beginning because she knows that she's there to do a job, but there's that nurturing motherly quality that she cannot help but feel for this girl, and wants to protect her, wants to make sure that, because the job is not to hurt her, the job is just to get the money and get out. Yeah. So she wants to take care of her, and they establish a connection, but then the twists happen in the movie that I don't want to talk too much about, but it goes from one thing to the complete opposite, and I think there's betrayal there, but it's I think the relationship between them is a larger metaphor of being a parent, what it means to be a parent, and how that can affect a child, and how important it is to show up.
I think for this film, for all of your characters, we get an idea for what it is they do outside of this job. Just a little snippet of what they do. Uh-huh. But I think that you still have to present that on screen and bring that person's lived experience to this. So I wanted to know, what is it do you think about your character that allowed to have this rapport with Joey about being a mother in certain aspects? So I think that's one of the highlights for the film, is these characters' personal relationships and how they connect with each other without knowing each other. So how do you think that went into this dynamic that we see and that you have with Melissa on screen?
Well, I think Rickles may have some skeletons in his closet that he hasn't told anybody about, and he can sympathize with her. And, you know, being ex-military, you're always looking to finish the mission and to save someone. And I can look in her eyes, you know, at that point you can read people. So you look in her eyes and saying, okay, you're here not really for yourself, but for somebody else, you know. And so once I saw that, you know, that creates a spark, that creates bonding. And I think that was Rickles' mission.
Yes, yes. And Kevin, for you, between your character and Angus's character, there were just so many unintentional and intentional funny moments throughout this. And I've been saying all day that I believe that if there were ever a blood quota in film or TV, that this film surpasses that. And then some. But what was it like filming those things? I hear that most of them were done mostly in one take. And it just seems like it would have been a whole lot of fun to be able to like be drenched in so much blood.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I mean, overall, it just felt like we were on this incredible playground with some real serious, awesome artists that were able to kind of step away and just enjoy it. You know, enjoy the process. Everybody had so much fun. So whether it was your time to be covered in blood, or it's someone else's time to be covered in blood, you know, you just kind of enjoyed being a part of the process. You know, I don't know if I've ever laughed so much on a movie, and I've done a lot of them now, and you know, it was a truly good time, and yeah, we all kind of fell in love with each other, so it was nice.
What was it like filming some of those? And I was talking to radio songs. They were like, you know, most of these scenes were like one take scenes at the end of the day with just like so much gore and so much blood. But what was that experience like filming those scenes?
I think I thought I've done horror films until this film. You know what I mean? Like I thought Freaky was gore.
Yeah.
I had blood on me in that. Nope. Can't hold a candle to this or a flame or whatever it is they say.
It was sticky. It was sticky. That movie Blood is like syrup and it gets everywhere. It was very sticky. And you're right, there was a lot of scenes where it was a one-take situation at the end of the day, hopefully, because the reset would have taken hours. You know, they were covering that set in blood sometimes. And
unless you're fully covered in blood from the start.
If you're already covered in blood.
Then you can do as many as you want.
But the art department were incredible on this, and there were some days where they were going in and prepping a set, just putting it like bits of body and, you know, intestines hanging off a bookshelf and stuff. It was a very weird thing to witness.
It's kind of like once you're in it and, you know, you're bloody and you're just eating it, that's when you want to do more. Because now you're already rolling in the mud.
Taste.
And it's not your clothes.
Yeah.
Someone's going to help you out after.
So let me just have more at this point.
It's like Halloween or something. Yeah.
And Kathryn, you have I feel like one of the standout moments in this film is the dance sequence that, you know,
Thank you.
I'm like, is she about to do that? And then like you just bust every move and it's so in sync with what Alicia's doing. And so I want to know like how that came about, and did you even work with her along, you know, some of that choreography and how
I think Matt and Tyler thought the same thing. She about to do that. I read it in the script and it said Abigail turns her into a puppet and she does a dance. That's it. And then they were like, okay, we need you to do a dance, Kathryn. I'm like, okay. So we shot a video, and it was like 2 minutes, and I thought they'd pick 20 seconds. And they were like, oh, yeah, we took the video. We're going to teach it to Alisha now.
Oh, wow.
And so then we had a great teacher, Belinda, who she took videos of me, and we worked together, and I loved it. I had a little bit of voguing in there, Madonna. I had a little bit of Patrick Swayze. I was a ballerina. I was like, 12 years of ballet and whatever. I never thought I'd be doing it in this film. But I think Alisha is also an amazing gymnast and dancer. So I think they just saw it and they were like, yeah, this movie's bonkers. We don't know. Let's just go for it. And I'm pretty grateful for the opportunity to do a little dancing. Yes. The way I did it. I'm not going to say what happens, but it was definitely one of the best days I had on set.
Yes. And Dan, for you, I love how Frank's character is just kind of like, it's so much going on there, because, you know, you think that he's one way, then you learn more about him, and then the dynamic that, you know, the character shares with Joey and how they have this like back and forth throughout the film. It's one of the most intriguing dynamics, I think, in the film. So what was it like for you being able to like play off what Melissa's doing and just really go for being that, I don't want to call him a villain because like it's a gray area in this movie, but like being that person in this movie?
Frank's pretty villainous. I mean, he doesn't like anybody, and I think we decided from quite early on that he was having a very bad day. It's about to get a lot worse. He's just annoyed by everyone. Every time Sammy opens her mouth, he's just a little bit more annoyed until that like builds up and builds up. But with Joey, Melissa's character, it's kind of a leadership challenge as well. Like he's kind of suspicious of her, doesn't really know what she's here for, and so there's that kind of jostling the whole way through the movie, which is kind of it's like an incidental challenge to the real challenge of the movie, which is a tiny vampire ballerina that wants to kill us all. But at the same time, he's got all these like personal beefs with everybody going on alongside it all.
For working in a franchise for 2 films, what was it like to do a project like this and having a story that some people may be like, okay, I know what that is, but also people can be like, I have no idea what this little girl is about to do in this movie?
I mean, it was really exciting for us. Maybe the most exciting thing stepping into this, off the bat, was after doing 2 screens, going, oh, we can be wholly original now. We can do our own thing. We can go crazy with it. We can do whatever we want. There are no rules. And that was so exciting. And then knowing that we have a ballerina vampire as the poster, when we were shooting the movie, we were like, well, that's going to be given away. Yeah. Our goal kind of became, let's make a movie like all the movies we love that you just want to watch over and over, that have these great characters that, yes, you might know the basics of it, but there's so much else happening, and so that we could kind of keep you on the edge of your seat with the tone, with the turns, with the characters, and just making it a very fully realized like theatrical movie. That was kind of our big goal there.
Yeah. And in your projects, there's some actors who appear multiple times. We had Samara Weaving, of course, in Ready or Not. One of my favorite films, by the way. Her popping up in Scream, and now, working with Melissa now as a lead actress in one franchise and now over to this. What was it like working with her on this project, and what was different about this project and that working relationship between you all as directors and her as actress?
I mean, I think just to sort of draft off of the excitement we had about working on something original, I think it felt really, really interesting and fun and liberating to have an existing creative relationship with Melissa and to bring that into the experience of just working on a movie from whole cloth. There was something really freeing for all of us in that process. And I think that it was really alive and electric because we never felt like we were tethered to a story that existed before us. And so I think that, and Melissa, I mean, one of the things that we can say has always been such a strength of hers is bringing ideas into the mix, right? Helping us craft the characters that she's playing. And knowing that there weren't any rules that we had to play by, she just was full of amazing, amazing ideas. And her interpretation of what Joey was on the page is something that we're just so proud of. We're so honored that we got to watch her bring it to life.
Yeah. And if there were ever a blood quota for TV and film, I'm sure this film would surpass that. And then some. I want to know, what was it like shooting those scenes? Did those scenes take a lot of takes, literally and figuratively, for the amount of blood splattered throughout this movie?
There's a lot. A lot of the time on those was preparing for those because at the end of the day, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they're all basically one take. And, it's making sure that we're ready for that one take, and then we do it at the end of the day, and it's fingers crossed, and everybody's gathered around like, here we go. We got it. Great. And it was sticky and messy and very, very bloody and so fun. Like, just a good time.